Hi. My name's Jennifer. I work here, and I borrowed this from Jeff Spurgeon. Thanks for coming out to the Green Space tonight. Ooh. I see a cat. I think a cat, a witch. Who else has a costume? Who's got a costume? Just a couple? Oh. I like it. Public radio listener, a lot of you are going with that. That's a common one. Okay, cool. Cool. Well, how'd you hear about the show tonight? Radio? Yeah, your radio told you to do it? Cool. Did you give money last week when your radio told you to do that? Okay. Just do everything it says. Do it all. Vote, you know. We're going to tell you to do that, too. Voting. It's important. Let's not get scary yet, though. Any repeat craft beer jammers in the house? Sweet, sweet. Welcome back. Glad to have you. So the Green Space is where WNYC and WQXR play live. We do about 10 or 12 events in here every month. For example, every first Friday, including this coming Friday, we have a totally badass madcap variety show. Heartbeat Opera is going to be a part of the one this week. So if you're a fan of opera, thoughtful, innovative, new ways to present opera, come on down for that. It's hosted by Julian Fleischer, who some of you have heard on WQXR. Every Monday night, we make podcasts, and of course, we do have lots of live journalism from WNYC and classical music from WQXR. The next two WQXR events are Joyce DiDonato and the Bertano String Quartet. Yeah, for real. Oh my God. That's on the 17th. It's almost sold out. We just released a few more tickets, so if you're interested in that, get them fast. And then we have an event on November 29th that celebrates Scott Joplin's music and the 150th anniversary. So check those out. Any members of WQXR, WNYC? Nice, thank you. Any new members this pledge drive? Extra exciting. Welcome to the fam. Everything we do here is supported by you and the Jerome L. Green Foundation. I also want to thank the Kings County Brewers Collective for donating tonight's beer. More on them later. There's a few things you should know just before we start. This is a real tattoo on my arm. Don't tell my mom. This is a delicious communal art making experience. We're also recording it, so do silence all the ringing and beeping things you have if you have not already done that. You can still use them if you want to post to Facebook or tweet or any of that exciting stuff, send a singing telegram, whatever. Don't be silent yourselves. Feel free to actually emit sounds of laughter, joy. You can boo tonight. That's not considered impolite, given the theme. You can make boo sounds, whatever you want to do. We're live streaming this on Facebook right now, so that's going to be there later if you want to share it with a friend or a foe. And there will be a trivia portion. So get ready, drink all the beer, and it will seem like a good idea to play. So, are you ready? Shall we bring it on? All right, loosen up your pants, sharpen your cat claws. Bring on the music, the beer, and your host, WQXR's Matt Abramovitz.
Do you think zombies now Instagram their food? I just feel like that's the thing now. When the zombie apocalypse comes, you know that a zombie is just going to walk up to you and be like, thank you, welcome. I'm going to put you in my feed. You are my feed. I mean, we're gotten to the point, right? We're so addicted to our phones that we're going to be buried with them. I'm convinced of that. And I will come back as an undead, uncool dad zombie. Like, I will be there with my also undead kids being like, are your eyes hungry for those brains or your belly? Listen to your body. And you are not excused from this corpse until you finish that liver. That is, you need that liver. It's growing zombie food. And the thing is, though, we already are zombies, right? I mean, have you ever been on a subway recently? Have you seen anybody look up? I think a zombie could come onto the subway, eat a man's arm while he's playing two dots. Nobody on the subway would say anything. And I don't even think he would notice. So, welcome to the show. We are encouraging you to use your phones. You can follow WQXR at WQXR_classical on Instagram. I'll be posting my most delicious arm that I just had very shortly. So tonight is all about classical music, beer, and it's for anybody who thinks that sometime in the distant future they might also be dead. Our stories are about the darker side of classical music and the darker side of beer. And each story and each beer will get darker as the night proceeds. So the way this works is that you get a beer from one of our many masked and make-up staff people. If you get a beer from somebody else, you should be very worried. And we will pair that with a piece of terrifying music. So all the beer tonight comes from an amazing brewery out in Bushwick, Brooklyn. Anybody from Bushwick? Okay, Brooklyn. So we have some Brooklyn in the house. Fantastic. Welcome, Brooklyn. Any other boroughs represented? Queens? Jersey City, that's not a borough, but thanks for playing. We have Manhattan. Okay. And what, Staten Island? Staten Island. Crickets out here for Staten Island. And the Bronx. All right, we got a little bit of Bronx love. That's all right, we'll take it. Welcome to all. What about Jersey? Great question. So, moving on. I'd like to introduce you to the person who made the beer you're drinking right now. Please welcome Zach Kinney from KCBC Brewers. Cheers. Cheers. So, Zach. KCBC, Kings County Brewers Collective. Sounds socialist. What is it?
It is kind of socialist. We're yeah, right? I mean, come on.
Beer for all.
Trying to be democratic, if that still exists. We I try not to do too much of this. So my partners Tony, Pete, and I all founded this brewery about 3.5 years ago, actually 4.5 years ago. We'd all been home brewing. We'd all gone to brewing school. We kind of just discovered this passion that we all had for craft beer, and felt like we wanted to be doing this professionally. We wanted to start our own brewery. So after a lot of fits and starts kind of separately, we realized that if we joined forces together and kind of did this as a team, Voltron style, we could actually make it happen. It's really expensive. It's really challenging to do any small business in New York City, especially manufacturing and beer. So yeah, we're here. 2 years in, we're still. It took us 2 years to kind of get the funding, to find the real estate, but now we have a production brewery out in Bushwick, a tap room, staff of 11 full-time people, and it's going well.
Thank you. So you're here all night. You've prepared a flight of beers for us that we're going to have through the evening. And tell us about this first beer that we're drinking.
So not all of our beers are dark per se, but we do have a very kind of gloomy, creepy kind of motif going through most of our beers. Actually, we have a whole zombie series that's mostly only summer, but we love the undead, and dying and dead and anything of that nature. This first beer is called Janiac Maniac. It's got a little John Carpenter vibe. Our label illustrator is brilliant. He's a really cool kind of comic book nerd and kind of has a very specific style. So it's a Pilsner. It's light. It's lagered, so it's very crisp, very clean. It's named after our landlord Gary Janiac, who is a maniac. There he is, right there. He helps out on brew days sometimes. He's a really nice guy. He grew up in Bushwick and remembers the old breweries that used to be in that neighborhood that were just closing down as he was kind of getting older, and he was always been really excited about us making beer. So again, it's floral. It's a little bit floral, but it's just kind of an easy drinking, refreshing beer. That's just a little bit crazy,
We have one vote of support so far.
All right, there we go. Yeah. Excellent. Cheers.
All right,
yeah.
cheers. Well,
Cool,
Zach,
cool.
thank you. We're going to see you through the
Absolutely,
night. Thank
cheers.
you, and welcome to the show and for our first beer.
All right, man.
Janiac
See you guys all later.
Maniac.
Cheers.
Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about music where most of the composers are dead and white guys, which is classic rock. And we're also going to talk about classical music. I want to, and we'll talk a little bit about how each of these composers died and became, in classical music terms, famous, because really there's no other way. So J.S. Bach died in 1750, and he wasn't really famous outside of musical circles for another like 75 years or so, maybe a little bit more. And he died following a botched cataract surgery. And I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, gosh, I didn't know they could do cataract surgery in 1750. They couldn't. So pro tip on the LASIK, you should be born in a time with antibiotics and anesthetics. You might feel a slight pinch, Mr. Bach. So we have one of the most terrifying pieces of music ever written by Bach, played by an amazing artist. And this is an artist who I love not only because she's an incredible harpist, but also she is an incredible person and a great personality. And honestly, I say this with love. I hope she's buried near me someday, because I want to hang with her at the after party. Please welcome Bridget Kibbe. That was amazing. Don't knock the harp over. Amazing. So amazing. And dressed as Jean from X-Men. See, I always thought you were a mutant. I knew it.
You know, I tell you, I was that girl that walked into the party and everyone's like, wait, who are you? So I added a little mask tonight to be like, superhero meets Jean, mutant.
It's kind of like an incredible mutant thing.
That's exactly the point. Thank you.
So this is your own transcription of Bach's Toccata and Fugue in D minor. How did you come to make this transcription?
You know, this was actually the result of a dare and a bet. There was no money exchanged. I'm still friends with a guy who asked me to do it. And so it was really a challenge and a continual challenge to play with all the fugal lines and to create an expansive feeling with something on such a delicate instrument. So I've just really loved taking up this piece, and it's really started this journey of transcribing all these keyboard works for the harp. So
it's like one of those things that you cannot believe it's done, right? Like, it's just like, that is incredible. And you have a record out, and I have a question about the title. It's called Love Is Come Again, or is it Love Is Come Again? Like, what is the...
Man, you know, we missed that typo. That little comma on the front of the album really sucks. It's actually this really beautiful Provençal French carol talking about like Christ coming at Christmas. Mm-hmm. So that's one of the pieces on the album, but it's all dealing with harpist-composer collaborations throughout the 20th and 21st centuries.
And so one of the other collaborations I know you're working on is with ballet at the NYU. So can you say a little bit more about that?
I'm just down the way at 1620 Cooper Square at the Center for Ballet and the Arts. It's brand new, and I'm so pleased to be a Toulmin Fellow for Women Leaders in Dance, which means I get to work with incredible choreographers that live right here in New York City in their dance companies, including Kate Skarpatowska, Lonnie Landon. We went to school together at Juilliard, Andrea Miller, Galim Dance, and so I'll be showcasing a lot of different collaborations dealing with Bach, some world music, 20th century masterworks, kind of a mixed bag.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And let me ask you a question. Like, when you started playing the harp, did you think, I can make this a scary instrument? Because like when I think about the harp, I think of like fairies dancing and dreaming. Like,
totally.
All right. So do you have any other? I want to hear a little extra. Can you give me a little more? Like one other. Try a couple scary pieces.
I think I can give you some scary.
All right. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but let's see. Let's see what we can do. All right. So scary harp music. Pretty good. Star Wars. Do we have any Darth Vaders in the house? Is anybody doing Darth Vader now? Is it all Kylo Ren at this point? I'm so old school now. All right, that's good. I like that. What else you got? Wait a minute. That's from the that documentary I saw about Cape Cod. I remember that now. That's amazing. So you made the harp sound scary.
I think I have one more. That's very scary. That's something else.
Okay, so one more. All right, let's see. Sure, let's see again. Bridget Kibbe. Bridget Kibbe, amazing. And that's her. That's her as an angel in a graveyard. Like I said, I'm going to see you at the after party, Bridget. All right, so the theme of the show, as you know, is Decomposers, celebrating composers who are no longer dead and spending most of their time decomposing. So part of the show is a trivia game, and I need a volunteer for the audience who would like to be part of our first game of the night. It's called You're Killing Me. Okay, you waving here. All right, come on up. And it's Mr. God to you. That's fine. A lot of people get that wrong on the first time. Welcome.
I have to chew my
Wow.
my trade nuts.
Oh my gosh, this freaky third eye thing. What is...
Excuse me?
You're scaring me now.
I'm sorry, what are you talking about?
Is that from Game of Thrones?
It's, I don't know what you're referring to. I'm so sorry.
You are committed to this joke. I don't even know your name. I'm Matt.
Hi, Jenny.
Jenny, where are you from, Jenny?
I'm from Manhattan.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Well, welcome, and we're going to play this game called You're Killing Me.
Okay.
So the theme of this is I'm going to ask you some questions about how some famous composers died. And I need you to guess right about what killed them.
Okay.
So we're going to start with one of the godfathers of the Romantic Age, Robert Schumann, an important composer, pianist, wrote many songs and symphonies and chamber works, a gazillion things. What grotesque and disfiguring disease finally killed one of these great romantic composers of the age? Was it A, smallpox, B, a previously undiagnosed gluten allergy, C, an illness known today as FOMO, or was it D, an illness known today as syphilis?
I would like to say it was a worm in his ear, but maybe it was syphilis.
We have a winner. You're 1 for 1. Now, I should tell you, here's what's... Jenny! All right, Jenny. There's still 4 questions to go, and I want to remind you of the rules.
Yes.
That if you answer 4 of these questions correctly or incorrectly, you will be a winner. It is a little like a Powerball ticket.
I love this. Okay.
And so you're within striking distance now, being 1 for 1. Okay, here we're moving on. Jean-Baptiste Lully, there he is. Born in 1683, died in 1764. He was a composer, a theorist, a conductor, and also very dead currently. What killed Jean-Baptiste Lully? Was it A, falling off an opera stage and breaking his neck? Was it B, falling out of favor with the king through a 3rd-story window? Was it C, crushing his foot with a staff and dying from gangrene? Or D, syphilis?
Did he kill the person in power? Syphilis.
It's a safe bet, but it's the wrong answer.
Oh.
Jean-Baptiste Lully used to conduct the orchestra using stamping out the time with a staff. Got a little overexcited and hit his foot. And as I said earlier about the LASIK surgery, you want to think about antibiotics.
Okay.
Moving on. You're
Okay.
1 for 2.
Okay.
Okay, Charles Valentin Alcan, one of the great piano virtuosos of the 19th century.
I better bloody know this.
Better. I was going to say, with somebody named Jenny from Manhattan, you better know about Alcan. Do you have a piano connection?
I have a piano, but the key is broken.
Oh, the shame. How did this piano virtuoso die in his private library? Charles Valentin Alcan died in his private library. Was it A, trying to read the Da Vinci Code, which would kill you?
That would really suck.
B, trying to read the Talmud. C, trying to burn his teenage diaries and letters. Or D, trying to find an original first edition of the bestseller, How to Cure Syphilis in 12 Easy Steps.
The one before that one.
Trying to burn his
The
teenage...
penultimate one.
The penultimate, big word. Trying to burn his teenage diaries. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Charles Valentin Alcan was trying to study the Talmud and reaching for
I didn't want to say
a
that.
big edition on a very high shelf when the whole thing fell on him. So sad. I know, you have to have...
Is this, we have 4 more now? We
No,
have
you
the
have
last
one more.
one?
One more.
Okay.
Let me show you what's at
But
stake.
I still win, right?
You're a big winner. So, Jenny, this is the WQXR Taxi Tote Bag. How many of you heard me talk about this on the air? Heard any of us talk about this? Taxi totes? So now, you know, we say like MC Escher, it's switching from taxis into pianos and back to taxis. This is what we're talking about. It's bright yellow and black, and here's what this MC Escher inspired bag contains. It contains the WQXR Leonard Bierstein. Oh yeah. It also contains some very cool WQXR sunglasses. And it contains CDs from some of our performers, including the amazing Bridget Kibbe and the forthcoming Lar Downs. Oh yeah, it's all in here. Jenny, and it could be yours. You have one more question to go. Everything hangs in the balance. Johann Schobert died at the tender age of 1767. He's virtually unknown today. He was a harpsichord specialist and a composer. He was influential on a precocious young man named Mozart. But he died young. And I'm going to ask you, Jenny from Manhattan, to imagine what were his most likely last words. In the tradition of many dead great white men, was it A, here, hold my beer, I've got an idea? Was it B, you're going to love these delicious wild mushrooms I just found? Was it C, here, I know how to clean a gun? Or D, baby, are you sure you don't have syphilis? Johann Schobert, meeting his early end, imagining his last words.
I'm sorry I gave you syphilis. Am I wrong?
You sound practiced at that.
Am I wrong?
Jenny, poor Johann Schobert made a gorgeous dinner with wild rice and wild mushrooms and killed everyone at the table.
Oh my God. Well, good for him.
But good for you. Jenny from Manhattan is our winner of You're Killing Me. You might go to an optometrist and just ask. I'm not judging, just
I
ask.
don't know what you're talking about.
Thank you, Jenny. Thank you so much. Let's have a big round of applause for Jenny. Ah, my gosh, such good fun. It has me so thirsty. Who's thirsty? Does everybody have their next beer? Except me. Oh, wait, we have somebody in the back who does not have a beer? Or you're just thirsty? No, we don't have. What? All right, we're fixing that. Okay, so beer's coming around, and I'd like to welcome back Zach Kinney to tell us a little bit about this beer that's called Marble of Doom. Oh my God, look at that color. Does everybody see this in the light?
Yeah.
Is that really a beer?
It's really a beer, yeah. This is a fruited sour ale with blackberry and pomegranate. So it's German style, traditional Berliner Weiss, amped up and then clobbered with quite a bit of fruit. So it's doom delicious. Yeah, bright red, fruity, tart. Still finishes dry, though a lot of flavor, kind of jammy. You know, this is one of our favorite beers that we do in terms of the sour stuff. So I'm glad I could bring it back. Felt like it was appropriate for, you know, dead people.
And how did you get the name Marble of Doom?
So the Marble of Doom name
like
came
saying
about
that.
because I'm a Mac user. I used to be a video editor, so I stare at my computer a lot still, even though now I'm in a brewery setting. And that spinning wheel of death or beach ball of death was just like driving me insane one day. And I was like, I should name a beer Beach Ball of Death, or what's another name for it? And I did a little Google, and it's Marble of Doom is the other sort of pseudonym. So I'm like, Marble of Doom. That is absolutely this next beer. And you, Apple, you know.
All right.
Here we are.
Well, here's to rebooting. Thank
Cheers.
you so much.
Cheers. Thanks, guys.
All right, Zach Kinney, we'll have him back. KCBC, the Marble of Doom. You guys go to the opera at all? There's so much dying in opera. It's like written into the opera code. Lots of deaths in there. Anybody have favorite deaths in opera? Tosca, that's a good one. So we have some throwing off of high places. We've got some daggers, right? There's some stabbings that happens in opera. A lot of, pardon me? Wozzeck, yes, that's, oh yeah. Well, so much blood. And so that is all nothing compared to what you're about to get. Our friends at Opera on Tap have created this new production called The Parksville Murders. It is the first virtual reality murder. And I'm going to stop talking just so you can take in this next experience. So please welcome from Opera on Tap, The Boatman.
step right up, excursionists and vagabonds. Step right up, ye travelers, step right up, drifters of neutrality, the liminal commences. All aboard! All aboard! Pleasure waits within this weeping. Satisfaction guaranteed. Avanti quo ad Those who come know not their fate, know what lay on the other side. We bathe in blood and mystery. Some carry death upon their back. Some drag the carcass in their stride. Some venture forth in ignorance, know not of death, nor touch the hem unraveled by eternity. But all are welcome, all may see, all may venture, all may see the void, the void, the void, the void awakens, the void awaits, the void awakens, the void awaits. All are welcome. Lift the veil. Reap the scent of innocence. All are welcome. Lift the veil. Carve your pleasure from the flesh, from cross the birth oblivion. Darkness now has destination. 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 To Parksville pilgrims come, come, come. The void awakens, the void awaits, the void awakens, the void awaits. You must pay the boatman's toll. You must pay the boatman's toll. You must pay the boatman's toll. You must pay.
Whoa. That was incredible. That was Matt Curran as the boatman. Can we bring him back out? Woo! Whew. And I know what you're thinking. Who are the sickos that came up with this stuff? We happen to have them right here. Please welcome Annie Hyatt and Kamala Shankaram. Where are you? There you are. Oh my gosh. Yeah, back from the undead. Okay, so I'm going to offer this to you. So tell us, I'm just going to step over here a little bit. I feel a little safer with you two. You look like I could outrun you, so I'm going to just hang. This is going to work out. So tell me a little bit about the concept of the Parksville Murders as a virtual reality opera serial.
Yes. Well, I can start with the context. I'll let Kamala really go into the storyline because she's one of the co-creators of the storyline. But it really started because we're good friends and we are fellow opera singers and fellow sopranos
and fellow horror fans.
And fellow horror fans. And early on, we had decided, it would be really fun to create an opera in the horror genre. In which it was kind of a soprano slasher, kind of batting an eye at our prospects in this industry and world. So, let's hire as many sopranos as we can and then categorically slaughter them. So that's how it started, and then it kind of really grew from there.
Amazing. And so, Kamala, can you tell me a little bit about the boatman and character and how you wrote that music?
Yeah. So... So the piece, because it's conceived for virtual reality, it means that you can't really have a traditional instrumentation because how many of you actually have used VR before? Woo! A few people. So as you know, when you're in a virtual space, you're actually in the space, which means that any sound that's coming at you has to have a sound source in the space. And so the idea behind it was that all of the music is diegetic and that there's something in the room with you that's making the sound. And so the Parksville, the first piece we did is a ticking clock, a radiator, and a television set that's making all of the sounds. The idea behind Parksville is that my librettist, Jerry Dye, he's also a big horror fan, and we love horror, but we're also huge feminists, so we're very disappointed with horror a lot of the time. And so we thought, why is this in virtual reality? Well, part of the reason is that you are the male gaze, really. You're the one who is creating the violence by looking at it. And so the boatman here is inviting you to look at the violence and to actually create it. So he needed to be something that was kind of not quite human and mechanical. And so that's where a lot of those sounds come from. They're machine sounds and electricity sounds and the sounds of technology.
And so you're doing this at the Flea Theater, is that right?
We are staging a reality version of the virtual reality opera at the Flea this week. In fact, we open tomorrow night and are there through Saturday. So come see it at the Flea in Tribeca.
The Flea in Tribeca. And Kamala, before I let you go, I said earlier that in classical music, composers don't really become famous
Apparently not.
until death.
Who
Who wants to make Kamala famous tonight? Who's with me? I got the boatman right here. Offer still on the table. Kamala Shankaram, Annie Hyatt, the boatman from Opera on Tap and the Parksville Murders, opening tomorrow at the Flea Theater in Tribeca. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, I think we are just about ready for our next beer. Does everybody have the next beer, or is it just still coming around? It hasn't come out yet. That's awesome. So that actually gives me an opportunity. You're probably wondering, how did I get this whole sexy Dead Mozart look? Because that's what this is. And so, it's obvious. It was obvious. And the answer is a good friend of the station, J Mac, who runs a business and an Instagram site called Beauty by J Mac. Beauty by J Mac, J-M-A-C-K. She came by on her free night off and did our makeup tonight. So I'd like a big round of applause for sexy zombie Mozart, courtesy of Beauty by J Mac. You should check it out. And as the beer's coming around, I just do have a quick question. How many of you can recite the WQXR pledge number by heart at this point? Because while we have a little dead time, I was thinking of just reciting it for the next 15 minutes. I want to thank you if you're already a member. If you're not, as with Kamala, I'm offering you the opportunity to get famous tonight, right now. We do need your support to make these events possible. So there's tote bags in the offing. There's lots of ways that you can get a thank you gift. But the important thing is that supporting the radio station makes it all possible to have people passing out beers just as Bach and Beethoven and Brahms intended. So to tell us a little bit about this beer, I'm going to bring out Zach Kinney again from KCBC. Welcome, Zach.
Back.
It's been so long.
I
So
know,
have you
seriously.
ever met somebody like dressed like the boatman?
No, I haven't. I'm kind of glad I haven't. Yeah.
And what is your what has been your best Halloween costume, would you say?
My best Halloween costume is probably when I went as a Bloody Mary. So I was I had this like full body like red like long john suit, and I put some celery and a straw in my hair, and like that was it. I was done. It was warm. It was one piece, simple, very a little high concept, but it really worked. So yeah.
More high concept would have been the bottomless Bloody Mary.
I'm
just saying.
Probably
that
true.
would have
That
been
like
taking it to the next level. You can use that next year.
I'll try that.
How does a Halloween roll at KCBC out in Bushwick?
We have pretty good parties. We had a big one on Saturday night, but all the decorations are up still. The tap room's open 7 days a week, so tomorrow night should be a really fun night. If you're in that neighborhood, come by, trick or treat, trick or beer. So we'll figure that out.
All right. So what is the beer that we're drinking right now? Now that most people have it, right?
Yeah. So this is called Intruder Annihilation. This is a 9% hazy, double dry hopped, double IPA. It's very hoppy. It's very smooth though, minimal bitterness, kind of New England style, where we're focusing on fruity flavors from the hops, not about bitterness. Smooth, good amount of wheat. So it's just meant to be like juice bomb and kind of sneaky booze. So yeah. We did a series of beers. Our Intruder series was called Intruder Alert, Intruders Attack, and Intruder Annihilation. So, it's kind of been a nice. You can see from the art there, it's like the old man has won, the intruder has been vanquished. But
And the intruder is some sort of a monster.
Yeah, he's kind of monstrous. He's creepy.
Excellent. So
not Boatman creepy, but he's pretty creepy.
Well, thank you for this. Intruder Annihilation, Zach Kinney, KCBC. Thank you again. We have at least one drunk man in the audience. 100 people to go. Work with me, people. Okay. So as we're drinking, this is a New England style IPA, a double IPA, and we're going to pair that with a bit of music from New England. Lara Downs is one of my favorite piano players, and she's an ambitious and smart about the way she compiles music. She just did a great CD called For Lenny, dedicated to Leonard Bernstein, but that's not the only dead composer she likes, okay? She's opening up the aperture a little bit more, and she's going to play for us a composer who was based out of Boston named Amy Beach. And Amy Beach died a very peaceable death after congestive heart disease, surrounded by family and friends. It was very nice. But I will tell you this, since it's of the season, one of her last diary entries, this is terrifying, was in early November on Election Day. And she dutifully recorded in her journal that day that she voted Republican. Oh, my God. It was a different time, people. Please welcome Lara Downs and the music of Amy Beach.
Halloween related, and I looked through my stuff and I found this little piece called Phantoms, but I really should, there's some scary stuff going on tonight, and this is so not scary. This is like Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Teeth like razors, all can read his open face, and McKee has got a knife, but not in such an obvious place. Wears white kid gloves which bring the mom away. Thames turbid waters man abruptly tumble down. Is it plague or is it cholera or a sign McHeath's in town? On a blue Sunday morning, see a corpse stretched on the strand. See a man dodge around the corner. Mackie's friends will understand. And the ghastly fire and soap, 7 children at a go. In the crowd stands Mac the knife, but he's not asked and doesn't know.
Blackman, Lara Downs. Wow. That was hands down, hope Theo's listening, the creepiest Mac the Knife I've ever heard. Are you scared? I feel like he owned that. Amazing. Lara, tell me a little bit. I know you two have been collaborating for a long time, you and Theo. Tell me a little bit about your most recent collaboration.
We haven't. We
Oh.
first worked together
Wait a
here
minute.
last year.
Hold the phone here for a second. What's this behind you? This is a picture from your recent hotel stay. And Lara, I'm gonna think I may be the only person seeing this, but I would say I think you should Photoshop that, retouch that a little bit. It's creeping me out.
That's my favorite.
You were saying?
I've forgotten everything now. I don't know. Theo and I were here together in the spring.
That's right.
And we did this really wonderful Songs for Lenny night. And I don't know, he's so weird and, spooky, and I love what he does. So we started talking about other things. So now we're doing Bernstein, Ellington, Kurt Weill. It's this whole 1940s sexy noir. This is the wrong era, I know. So we have a show on Thursday night at Noy Gallery.
Okay.
And that's
Thursday night, Noy Gallery.
Noy Gallery. It's sold out, but if you know someone who knows someone who knows. But no, we're having a great time, and it's really great music. And he just does incredibly unexpected, cool stuff with everything we try. So fun.
Amazing. Well, can I ask you to try something a little unexpected with me tonight?
You know me.
Okay. I'd like to involve you in our next game. So for this game, I need you, and I also need a volunteer from the audience. You, first up, amazing. Okay, come on up, welcome. I'm gonna have you stand right here. Welcome. Tell me your name. I'm Matt.
Jenny from Queens.
Jenny from Queens.
It's a demographic thing, like all the women my age are named Jennifer.
My wife is named Jennifer.
See?
Is she still here tonight? No, I think she left. Oh, there. She's like, I saw enough. I'm fond of Jenny's. It's not. So, as we know from Jenny from from Manhattan, three-eyed Jenny over there. So, the name of this show. The name of this game is called I See Dead People. So, Jenny from Queens, the question is, do you have a sixth sense about guessing which composer we're talking about from a musical cue and their death mask? Oh, I told you it was getting dark. We're doing this, people. Does everybody know what a death mask is? Okay. For those of you who don't know and don't want to admit it, after somebody would die, often people famous, they would sit them up and do a plaster mold of their face for one last look before they were forgotten for all eternity. So, we have compiled a handful of composer death masks. And from the picture and a musical cue provided by the amazing Lara Downs, everybody, I'm going to ask you to see dead people. Can we get the first death mask? Do you recognize, based on this musical clue, who our composer is?
Mendelssohn? Syphilis! Syphilis!
The answer is syphilis. Congratulations! The Bridal March from Tannhäuser is your clue. It is Wagner. Yeah. And purportedly Wagner got into a fight with his wife and had a heart attack. Very sad. And that was his death mask. Looked just like him, surprisingly.
It didn't.
Moving on. Can we get our second death mask? There he is. And here is your musical clue.
It's a lullaby. Can I have multiple choice?
You can offer a lifeline to the audience or a death line to the audience.
They are no
Your
help.
friends know.
They don't know.
They know nothing?
They're
All right. I'll give you a hint. His last words were, "Now is my final agony, no more."
That's so poetic.
Yeah.
Are you sure he wasn't?
He was a poet of the piano.
I don't know.
The audience knows. You want to ask the crowd?
Chopin.
That's Chopin. There he is. Freddie Chops, as we like to call him. He was a monster of the keyboard and a tuberculosis. Moving on to our next death mask. There he is. I'll give you a clue right here, is another pianist, Lar Downs. He was one of the first kind of rock stars of classical music. People would...
Liszt.
Yes!
Yes!
It's Franz Liszt! There he is! Looking ever so slightly more lifelike in that photograph.
I thought he died young.
No, he lived a long,
Okay.
full life. Yeah. Moving on. Death mask number 4. Lara Downs, hit it. That was great. All right, so his last words that were recorded were, "Children, be comforted, I am well," which is fitting. I know, but you got to take care of your kids. You got to tell them everything's going to be okay, no matter what. And it's fitting that he said, "Children, be comforted, I am well," because he was known affectionately as Papa.
I'm sorry. Did he have a lot of children?
He had no children.
Haydn.
He was Franz Joseph Haydn. Pockmarked skin and gargantuan nose and all. There's Papa Haydn. All right, you ready? You have done very well. And so I want to remind you that the stakes are exceptionally low, but the prize is very high. You're getting the WQXR taxi tote bag MC Escher-like design, transferring from taxi cabs to pianos and back. Designed by the illustrator Christoph Nyman, which is kind of cool.
Oh, I love him.
I love him too.
Yeah.
We also have the Leonard Bierstein beer mug. There you go. That could come in handy later tonight. And the CD from our friend Bridget Kibbe. Love Has Come Again.
She's amazing.
And also amazing, come on, Lara Downs, our music director for the game I See Dead People. And in case you're seeing things too brightly, the sunglasses
I need
are
those.
here.
I need
All right.
those. The future's too bright.
The future is bright. And we are down to one final death mask in the game I See Dead People. Your sixth sense is, I think, just starting to kick in. Yeah, you're not quite M. Night Shyamalan yet level
look
yet.
so different when they're dead. You look completely different.
It's true. I look different in life than I do now as a zombie.
Yeah.
But I still use my phone the same way. Here is the final death mask for tonight in the game I See Dead People. Can we get a musical hint, Lara Downs? Thank you so much. That was gorgeous, Lara. You are just killing it tonight. All these composers, and she just knocks them out. Jenny from Queens. Beethoven! There he was, a little more red in the cheeks. He died a very...
Was it syphilis?
It was not syphilis. But I will tell you a couple of... Yeah, no, I know it wasn't syphilis. I was there. Zombie and all. They've done analysis of Beethoven's skull fragments and hair, and it turns out he had something like 40 times the amount of lead that was common.
They all did back then.
Yeah. Yeah, well, he used to drink lead-fortified wine. Because those lead sugars,
Yeah.
there is nothing like them. And I will also tell you this, that collecting hair was such a popular pastime to have great composers and to have a lock of their hair, that by the time Beethoven was buried, he had been completely shorn. And I'll leave you with that, Jenny. Congratulations. Thanks for playing I See Dead People. Have a great night. Let's hear it for Jenny from Queens. And Lara Downs. Amazing. Oh, that was fun. Sweet and dark. So, you have the next beer in your hands. Please welcome Zach Kinney to share a little bit about this beer that is called Death from Below. I feel like I should just announce everying for the KCBC and for free beer.
Cheers. So this is actually an oyster stout, brewed with dead oysters. I mean, technically just the shells. But
does anybody here have a shellfish allergy that we should know about? We actually do have a shellfish allergy. I have an EpiPen in the back. I promise.
Sorry. Oyster stouts are actually a kind of a traditional style. A lot of breweries have made them over the years. Again, we're just using shells, no actual oyster flesh. But we did take about 45 pounds of oyster shells and kind of add them at the end of the boil. This is an otherwise kind of light, dry Irish stout. It's 4.2%, so it's pretty sessionable. But the oyster shells kind of give it just a little bit of salinity, which kind of like rounds out the mouthfeel and kind of works well with the chocolate, roasty, kind of semi-sweet, dark chocolate kind of vibes that are going on here too. So, it's meant to be a little spooky, but also something you can drink a lot of until you die from below.
So you said a lot of things that I understood. Jenny, I love this. You said a beer is very sessionable.
Yes.
When brewers say a beer is sessionable, does that mean I can just drink it for a very long session?
That's absolutely right. Yeah, that's a word that means what it says it means when in terms of beer vernacular. Yeah.
I thought binge was the word you were looking for in that.
That's a little college thing. So.
Amazing. All right, so what was the circumstances in which a brewer was thinking to themselves, what we got to do to this beer? You know what this needs?
Some
How about
oysters.
45 pounds of oyster shells? How did that come about?
You know, I don't actually know the origin. It was probably someone in England who was just trying to put something into their beer. You know,
Or it had a long session leading up to that moment.
Yeah, or was just really drunk and was like, let's put some oysters in the beer. Ah! The can label has a pirate on it. He's underwater. This is actually a collaboration brew. We do a lot of collaborations with other breweries and other organizations. This is brewed in partnership with Randolph Beer. They're a brewery and beer bar. They have a brew pub down in Dumbo. Really nice guys. And another bar near us that's called Cape House. They do a lot of seafood. We did a fundraiser when we launched this beer for the Billion Oyster Project, which if you don't know about, you should check it out. It's a really great thing trying to restore oysters to the New York Harbor. So, you know, we try to do as much kind of socialist collaboration as we can. So.
That's right. It's a brewers collective.
Yeah.
So, Zach, before you split, first of all, thank you for this. And where can people find KCBC beers?
So we're distributing pretty much all across the city now. If you go into a fine craft beer establishment or even just your local dive bar and they don't have our beer, tell them they should call us and get our beer. We're selling stuff pretty fast, but we do try and get our beer out there. The best way to do it, though, is to come to the tap room. It's on the L train. As long as it's running, you know, or if you live in
2021, we can go out
yeah,
there,
you know, you can come visit us in a few years. But we're open 7 days a week, and you know, we try to always make people feel welcome. So, you know, a lot of variety. We do always do new stuff, and you know, love to see you all out there. So, cheers.
All right, Zach Kinney, KCBC. Thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
me. Thanks a lot.
Really? Do you need me to call you a car? You're not driving, right? You have somebody with him? All right. All right, I'm going to start cutting you off after the oyster beer. I love you too, man. So I'd like to bring out our final musical act. Have you ever seen these subway posters for that, what is it called? The Red Storm Revolution? I'm not a gamer. What is the name of that thing? You're all gamers. Red Dead Redemption. You're all zombies already. It's too late. Please welcome the Ataka String Quartet. All right, team. All right. You stumped me. What are you dressed as? I don't get it. Is it some sort of military thing?
Totally.
All right, so the Ataka String Quartet. We got Amy, Keiko, Andrew, and Nate, right? So welcome to the show. You're already like into the music. You're like, get out of here, dude. We got Ghost of Us. We're done here. So I actually do want to ask about the video game. How did that come about? I hear video games are getting popular now.
Yeah, we're gonna just be a string quartet in the video game.
How did you get that gig?
They just emailed us.
They some of you may know us for our Star Wars rendition, and they saw our Star Wars video on YouTube, and they were such nerds about it that they said we need this quartet. Yeah.
Who are you gonna call? That's amazing. So, do you have any shows in costume that you're going to be doing coming up?
No, but we do have some shows coming up. We have a show on the 2nd of November. We're playing some Beethoven. We have a album coming out in February of Caroline Shaw's quartets.
So, say more about Caroline Shaw.
Caroline Shaw is our good friend and one of the most amazing composers alive today. And we just thought it was time for her to have a disc of all of her string quartet work. So amazing. Yeah. And
you're also doing a project around Beethoven, right?
Totally. Yeah. We.
All right, we're done.
You like me today? Yeah, sure. Wait. Yeah. Let's give it to one of you.
I'm super excited. We're playing the complete Beethoven quartets this year in my hometown in Buffalo, New York, at this Buffalo. It's going to be at the University of Buffalo. They have a cycle at the Slee Concert Hall, and I've been wanting to play on this series my entire life, so we're super excited. Thank you.
Haydn. Oh, yeah. So what? What, Haydn?
You sampled the beers, I can tell.
Yes, yeah, and they were delicious. Although we are doing the Beethoven cycle, we used to do an all Haydn project, and it took 6 years, but no big deal. Anyway, we're going to play one of the creepiest string quartet that Papa Haydn wrote, and this is the Minuet movement from Opus 76, number 2, the fifth.
And before you start, I do want to tell you a story about Haydn. Haydn's head was stolen from his grave. A friend of his, who was also a budding phrenologist, arranged for a gravedigger to get the head of Papa Haydn and remove it because, with a head like that, you're not just going to let that rot to dust, are you? It's a long story. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I will tell you that Haydn's head was not reunited with his body for more than 140 years. How many skulls do you think right now are in Haydn's tomb? Does anybody know? 2. There's one that is Haydn's, and one that was a replacement skull early in the process in those 140 years of trying to figure out, we got to get a skull in there. So you got to get somebody who's got a skull. So there are 2 skulls in there, or at least there were. And I'm proud to say for tonight's beer jam, Decomposers, we have brought Haydn's real skull to preside. He was still a genius nonetheless. It's not about size, okay? So this is Haydn's genuine skull presiding over this rendition of your string quartet. Yeah, they were shorter too. The Attacca Quartet, folks. Otaka Quartet, Nathan Schramm, Andrew Yi, Keiko Takunaga, and Amy Schroeder. Amazing and so dead. So dead. Hey, can we welcome all of our performers? I think some of the folks are still in the house. Theo Blackman's here, Lara Downs is here, Zach Kinney from KCBC, Bridget Kibbe. We get a round of applause for all of our musicians and our beers. Thank you for coming out and supporting WQXR and supporting these amazing artists and this amazing brewer. And we'll see you next time. Good night.